Hey guys, yeah, sorry for the restart and all that. Had had a lot of issues going on basically. Um, but anyway, I wanted to come on here. You obviously see what the title of the video is, and yes, we are here to talk about something that I discussed in my Topics on My Mind, my Fourth of July edition of Topics on My Mind, this past weekend or this past Saturday. But yeah, the word is, or the word going around is ever since the announcement was made by Sega that and IDW that the IDW exclusive characters for the IDW Sonic comics, Tangle the Lemur, and Whisper the Fox, were coming to the mobile spin-off games Sonic Dash and Sonic Forces Speed Battle. A lot of fans, longtime fans, and even probably some newer fans have been jumping onto, or have been, how do I put this? They've not been jumping on, but they've created and in the process have jumped on to what's known as the hashtag Rally for Sally, which is trending on social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, wherever it is trending. As a matter of fact, if you go into the search bar on Twitter in the upper right hand corner and you type in Rally for Sally or Rally at all, one of the first um, hashtags you'll see is Rally for Sally. And this kind of surprised me a little bit because, I've been a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog for a long time. I mean, obviously, you see in the background, these are collage posters that were pieced together. Each of these posters here are they're basically a collage poster. Each of them represents a cover of the story arc that they were dealing with. Like this was Sonic 53, 54, 55, and 56. And then, of course, this was Sonic 84, 85, 86, and 87. Well, actually, that's not, well, not individually, but 253, 254, 255, 256. And here you had um, 284, 285, 286, 287. I think, oh, wait a minute. It was, yeah, it was 54, 54, 55, 56. Yeah, it was what it was. It was 54, it was 53, 54, 55, 56, and 57. Kind of similar to each other. But both these posters on the front here represent are collage posters of those covers for those story arcs. But I've been a fan of the story of Sonic, like I said, a lot longer than that, and so to me, this was kind of a surprise because recently I had downloaded the most recent Sally hacks, if you will, and Bunny Rabbit hacks, mods, if you will, that people did for the first two Sonic games, the original first two Sonic games on the Genesis, that I can now play on my mobile device, and hopefully I can play on my television down the line. But I downloaded them, and I've actually gotten a kick out of them, and I've actually enjoyed playing them, especially since I got the 8-bit Duo Genesis controller, the 6-button Genesis controller by 8-bit Duo, and I've enjoyed um, playing as the characters on there. And as I've said before, I actually did a review video on both of these. They feel when you play them, they feel like they naturally fit in. Like there's nothing, like there's no changes. I mean, because the only change you really get is the characters themselves. There's no other changes, but besides that, there's no changes of of enemies, of background, or anything. They feel like they naturally belong in these settings, and that's kind of cool. So yeah, it's really cool to finally have these games, and like I say, to finally to finally have finally play characters like Sally and Bunny in the original Sonic games. But I know as well as anybody else does that they're not official characters. They were never official characters in the games. That the only time we ever had Sally and Bunny most in an official Sonic game was was when they were rescued along with Tails and Rotor in the Sonic Spinball bonus stage after the first level. That was the only time, and so I can kind of understand how a lot of people feel about seeing characters from the IDW book that were made exclusively, as far as I know, for the IDW book, suddenly in the video games. Like okay, why are they in the games? But Sally and the other characters that were originally with Sonic almost since the beginning, why aren't they in the games? What's going on? What's the deal? And I don't think you can honestly blame anybody for feeling that way, because it's like, wait a minute, why are these characters that were exclusively made for the games, why are they in not games, but for the comics, for the IDW comics, why are they in the games? So I think that's why I think honestly, that's why you have fans doing this whole hashtag rally for Sally deal, because there's a lot of fans, long time and new, that feel that if there's any real character that deserves, any Sonic character of any kind that deserves to finally debut in a video game officially as a playable character, doesn't matter if it's, on a Sega game that's going to different ports like Xbox, PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, whatever, or mobile, that if there's any character out there that deserves to make a video game debut finally as a playable character, it's Sally, because she her history is more along the lines of a character that, depending on who wrote her in the comics, you kind of either love to hate or hate to love, but most of the time fans loved her. They got behind her because what they saw in the comics with her character as well as in the cartoon is they saw somebody that was the perfect foil for Sonic, like someone that would basically not take a lot of his BS. She'd be the perfect foil for him. She'd know how to, like if he would say something or do something, she'd find a good counter to go against him with, and or she'd find a good counter to, to get back at him with. Like she'd find a good, something to say that, honestly, um, that honestly, you could say, well, that makes sense. That made sense. Oh, that was a good counter. Like you could be like, aha, see, she got him. So, yeah, it's one of those kind of situations to where, um, you know, she she's just a character that people really liked, and sure, there's no doubt that her character was written at times in a way that made you wonder why is she acting like this, and then of course you hear about all the situations behind the scenes as to why she was portrayed this way, or why she acted this way, or why she did that, and why this scene was drawn like that with her doing this, and it just really, I think honestly, it just really rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way, because or made them conflicted about, should I like this character, should I not? But finally, when you have someone like Ian Flynn, and someone like an Ian Flynn, and by a way, by extension, Ken Penders before him, and then even people like Evan Stanley and all them stepping in and cleaning up what was pretty much a mess with her character at times. Um, you know, people. started to kind of get behind her and be like, hey, I like this character. I really do. I really like this character. And I think mostly, whether we like to admit it or not, when the soft retcon occurred and, she became the way she was there, whether we liked the design or we didn't, feeling it was too Segafied or whatever, people liked her a lot more because she was more active on the field. And we saw signs of that even, before the soft retcon, even before her robotization, which a lot of people, even myself, feel was kind of an unnecessary plot point that they did and went for far too long than it should. So so yeah, just a lot of factors going in. And another thing again that obvious and another thing about Sally that obviously got fans to like her is they could relate to her. They could they well, not relate to her, but they could see that she wasn't a princess that wanted to be treated just because she wanted to be treated as royalty. She just wanted to be treated as one of the people, and that's it. Mega Beatman did a review what was it, Sonic issue 62 or 64 or something. And the backup story was with Sally enjoying a day off where she was skydiving and doing stuff like that with the likes of Hershey and Loop. And it was just, when you see her character portrayed that way in the stories, depending on who writes them, that's where fans get behind her because they see a character that doesn't look down upon her people, but she'd rather be treated as equal as her people. And this and what's funny is, and what's ironic as well, is Dumbsville, that's the YouTube name of the channel, the YouTube name for the channel, Dumbsville. He did a response video to one of his subscribers, and basically the subject of the video was, did Amy Rose replace Sally in IDW? Was Amy Rose given Sally's personality? And I'm one of those fans that, honestly, when I would look at the comic and see how it is, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I could probably see maybe where people are coming from with Amy acting like Sally in some cases. But I also would notice how, characters like Tangle were designed kind of similar to Sally, and kind of see maybe that, all right, maybe Tangle's not Sally entirely, and maybe Whisper's not Bunny entirely, but you can kind of see that perhaps there's a little bit of a dynamic that's who they're supposed to be. Like that's who they're supposed to represent. Like they're supposed to be the Sally and the Bunny of the group of the comics. And fans obviously weren't too thrilled about that. I mean, fans have gone to, I'm not going to deny it, fans have gone on to like Tangle, they've gone on to like Whisper, but to them, as great as these characters are, they're not ever going to replace characters like Sally or Bunny or Rhoda or Antoine or Dulce or Loop or any of them. And what's even crazier is when Dumbsville did the response video, it was not just a video about, okay, did Amy Rose become the Sally of IDW Sonic, but was Sally a Mary Sue? And Dumbsville would counter and saying, no, she never was. She was never portrayed as a Mary Sue, no matter how you look at it. I mean, it's like everything, the original video poster, or the original, I think his name was Groovy 33, would say Dumbsville would, in a way, and I'll say this with all due respect, would correct him on, when it came to whether or not Amy was a Mary Sue or Sally was a Mary Sue because of certain things and all that. And Dumbsville would have to say, no, you're wrong. Did you not read the comics thoroughly? Do you not see, hey, she's not like that way? Anyway, though, yeah, getting back on topic, fans, but like I said, getting back on topic, people like Dumbsville would have to basically correct people like Groovy and say, look, Sally's never like that. You want to know why people like Sally? It's because she doesn't think of herself as more than what she is, than less. She doesn't look at herself as being above her people. She doesn't, you know, act, so she's not this way or that. She's down to earth. She's relatable. And she's basically someone that if she felt like it, she could just, you know, remove the princess title, which she would like to do it, which she sometimes does in stories, and say, hey, don't call me a princess, don't call me your majesty. I'm just Sally. Treat me like I'm one of you. So, well, Wolf, yeah, thank you for the correction there. But yeah, but anyway, like I said, you know, a lot of the traits that Dumbsville would counter in his response video, and others have said before, is pretty much on point. I mean, Sally is a princess, but she's not treated as one. And depending, like I said, on whoever wrote her character in the early pre-soft retcon issues, and understood that. There were times Ken Penders understood that. There were times that Ian Flynn understood that. And even in the post reboot, or post soft reboot, and all that, she was more relatable and all that. She actually had quirkiness, a little bit of a personality. As a matter of fact, one of the traits they wanted to give her was she doesn't know really how to cook. And we never got to see that. We kind of got a hint of that, and I think we kind of got a hint of that in one of the issues. I don't know if it's a universe issue or the main comic issues, but we kind of get a hint that, oh, she doesn't really know how to cook. So, okay, that's a quirkiness, that's a comedic effect of hers. Oh, wait a minute, it was a universe book. It was the Spark of Life Nicole origin book. So we kind of got some comedicness. And by adding stuff like, oh, she doesn't really know how to cook well to her personality, it made her more relatable, in my opinion, than I think we've ever seen before. And all this combined with how she was portrayed in the cartoon, mostly in the cartoon, and how she was portrayed at times in the pre-soft reboot issues and even afterwards, it's why fans love her character. She's relatable. She doesn't think of herself as being better than anybody else. She has, she has her quirkiness. She has faults that you can relate to, maybe even find humor in. And this is why fans get behind her. This is why people like Dumbsville, whether he truly likes her character or not, defend her when it comes to, oh, is she a Mary Sue or is she not? And they point out this is why she's not. Even Matt, Mega Beatman, who did a review, like I said, with that backup story where she was doing some skydiving with Hershey the cat and Loop the wolf and Hamilton the pig, it showed that she doesn't think of herself as being above her people, because when a commoner sees them land on the ground and invites her and her crew to dinner at his mom's request, she doesn't stand them up and act like, oh, I'm a princess, I don't eat with commoners. No, she accepts it because she can relate to what's going on to them, or going on. She can relate with them as we can, and thus we can relate with her, because she had to live as a common individual throughout the whole storyline of fighting Robotnik / Eggman. So all these elements and everything, is why fans love her character so much, and why you see something like this whole Rally for Sally deal. Because to them, if you could take two characters like Tangle and Whisper, who were IDW comic exclusives originally, and put them into these mobile spin-off games, Sonic Dash and Sonic Forces Speed Battle, as playable characters, then you could do the same. And then in their opinion, you can do the same for a character like Sally. You can do the same for a character like Antoine, Rotor, Bunny, Dulcie. You can do the same thing. There's nothing holding you back. If you're willing to let, if Sega is willing to let Whisper and Tangle be incorporated into the games, even if they're spin-off mobile games, then why not do the same for Sally and those characters that came before them, and that many fans feel are more deserving, and have been deserving for a long time, even before IDW came into the picture a couple of years ago. I'm just saying. I think honestly, fans, I think that's why fans are behind these characters getting a chance to be put into the games, because especially Sally, because they could see characters that, you know, could automatically, in their opinion, fit into the games. You know, even if you want to use the what is it, the um, post soft rebooted version of her, they see a character that can be very playable in the games, even by, with her ability now with the with the ring wrist, she could, use them as blades and all that. That's a that's a playable trait for a character. That's a trait in a playable character. People, or ability that fans would love to see love to have in a playable character, especially in a Sonic game. Like I said, that's a playable trait they would like to see in a game. And honestly, honestly, I don't blame them. I don't. But this is why the Rally for Sally thing has started. Because if you're taking two exclusive characters like Tangle and Whisper from IDW, from the IDW Sonic comic, and incorporating them into the games, if you will, then to a lot of fans, there's no stopping you from finally doing it for Sally or for Rotor or for Antoine, you know, or maybe even if they want to go as far, Sonya and Manic from Sonic Underground. You know, there's nothing, stopping them from letting that happen, because, or making that happen, because if they're willing to do this, then why not go in that direction as well? And that's why I think the whole rally for hashtag rally for Sally came to be, in my opinion. I mean, do I think it's going to succeed? I think if it gets a lot more people behind it, and if there is a petition for it to happen, gets enough signatures to send to Sega on both ends of the spectrum, then yeah, I think it could. Because I think a lot of fans, longtime fans, and all that, they have an argument. They have an argument right now, and that is, you know, that hey, if you're willing to let Tango and Whisper, these two IDW comic book exclusive characters of the IDW Sonic comic, into a game, even if it's a mobile spin-off, then why can't you let these characters, that came before them, that are more than willing or more deserving, or just as if not more so, than Whisper and Tangle? I'm just saying. You know, there are there are folks that believe that. There are folks that are probably going to feel that way. And if the petition gets enough signatures, if there is a petition to go with this hashtag here on social media, to make this happen, then again, like I said, obviously they have a case on their hands. They have a case on their hands, an argument, if you will, that hey, if you allow these characters in, it's only fair that you allow those characters that came before them in. So, um, so obviously, it's a, as I say at times, it's a wait and see game. But yeah, hashtag rally for Sally it's a real thing. You go on Twitter, you type in RAL and or rally, and then one of the first things you'll see is that rally for Sally. You go to Facebook, you'll see the same thing. You go to Google or Bing, and you type it in the search bar, you'll see results of it as well. You know, and the thing is, and the thing is, a lot of fans are probably hoping that this, and like I said, what I'm trying to say is a lot of fans feel that Whisper and Tangle being involved now, or being now integrated into the games, even through mobile games, that it opens the door for characters like Sally and Bunny and Antoine and Rotor to and Dulcie to probably finally get a chance to get in the games as well. And especially if you want to use the new post soft reboot versions as the playable characters, then that's good too. I mean, heck, you throw in Nicole as well. So Bunny, Sally, Nicole, Rotor, Antoine, Dulcie, throw them in there. They have abilities that would work as playable characters in a game like Sonic Dash, like a game like Sonic Forces Speed Battle, and you're off to and just have to, and then you're just off to the races, in my opinion, because because I can say this, even though there's a lot of fans that are glad Tangle and Whisper have gotten this opportunity, there'll be a lot more fans that'll be even more ecstatic if they do decide, if Sega does decide, okay, we hear you, we see the hashtag, we hear you, we're going to give you what you asked, and they go and they put Sally in there. They go and they put Nicole in there. They go and put Antoine in there, Rotor in there, Bunny in there, Dulcie in there. Fans will be more than ecstatic than they are, will be more happy and ecstatic than they are now if that happens. And I guarantee you, the units, the mobile units, the downloadable, you know, units, purchases, money, if you will, that Sega is getting now with Tangle and Whisper being involved, and fans playing the games now because of just not just playing the games now more because of that. Only imagine if they can only imagine. I think any fans watching this would agree that Sega could only imagine the outcry, the um, I don't know, but the money they could make if they go and do and fall through and follow, and listen to the fans with the hashtags for hashtag rally for Sally campaign, and put her in the games as well, along with, like I said, Bunny, Antoine, Nicole, Roller, Dulcie. They would, they know that they would make a lot more money than I think they even can think than they're making now. I mean, again, and again, going back to another video I talked about, a lot of fans have drawn movie versions. Either they've drawn over the movie version of Sonic with CGI, with the CGI Adobes or whatever, the creative software, or they've drawn it themselves that you can see on DeviantArt. This is why a lot of fans are hoping that with the sequel to the Sonic movie, that we get, maybe even if it's maybe if it's towards at the end with end credits, as I've mentioned before. This is why they're hoping we could get Sally in the game, in the movies as well, because as I've mentioned before, fans would love nothing more than to see maybe in the end credits, just like with Tails when he showed up during the mid credit scenes. I think they would love nothing more than to see during the mid credits or maybe the end credits, Tails talking to somebody, showing, and then having Sonic coming into the picture and raving to the person, or raving to that individual, and that individual waving back, and Sonic says, "See you soon." And if he doesn't say a name, and then that individual says, "See you soon" as well, and you hear a female voice, you're thinking, who is that? And then all of a sudden, you see maybe out of the shadows, you see the eyes and maybe a little bit of the silhouette of Sally. The roof on that cinema, the roof on those theaters will go off the roof with excitement, because fans will be applauding and everything because, oh my God, here she is. She's making her debut. Or heck, if you hear Sonic even mention the word, "Hey, see you soon, Sal," he says that word, and then we're immediately followed up, and then immediately it's followed up with us seeing her eyes, and her stepping out of the shadows. We're seeing her eyes and a little bit of what she looks like along with the silhouette. Again, the roof would blow off. The point is, Sally is such a popular character, an important character in the Sonic franchise, no matter how you feel about her, that when you have fans doing a hashtag for her on social media, whether asking fans to get behind the petition, get behind the idea to get her in the games, because now you're seeing Tangle the lemur and Whisper the wolf, being involved, integrated into the games now as well. That's saying that's a true testament to her longevity and her popularity as a character. And not just that, but again, this goes and can again this ties into what I just said about fans wanting to see her in the sequel. You already have fans drawing movie versions of what she would look like, even integrating what she would have looked like in the first movie, over the Sonic design, because they want to see her. And like I said, if we see any appearance of her by any chance at the end of the movie, at the end of the end credits, or in the middle of the credits, and we hear Sonic say her name or say, "Hey, I'll see you soon," and then you hear a voice that sounds very similar to Katsushi, and then all of a sudden you see her eyes disappear here, like they have a little ray of sunshine show up, and or like you have this like little ray of sunshine showing in a certain part of the screen, and you see her eyes disappear, and you see like the silhouette of what she looks like, or she steps out of the shadows, or he says her name. He says his name, or Sonic says her name and says, "Hey, I'll see you soon." Again, the roof would blow off that theater. The roof would blow off the place. There's no denying that. And I think everybody at Paramount, Sega, they know that. And I think there are those at Sega that know as well that what they've done by integrating Tangle and Whisper into the Sonic games now, even if they're mobile, is they've opened the doors, the floodgates, for fans to want to see other characters that are comic exclusive jump in as well. And those characters they know, and the only other comic exclusive characters they know, came before Tangle and Whisper. And those are Sally, Rotor, Nicole, Antoine, Bunny, Dulcie. They know fans will want to see them in the games now, if they're putting now more than ever, especially if they're putting these characters in there. And that's a fact. That's a fact. And I don't think Sega can deny that. I don't think they can deny that whatsoever. And that's just my dog. She's sneezing a little bit. She's all right. But like I said, I don't think Sega can deny that. I don't think the people behind Sonic Dash and Sonic Forces Speed Battle can deny that either. And you can't tell me they're not seeing the hashtag Rally for Sally grow on social media as we speak. You can't tell me they don't see that, because they do. They do see that. I mean, I can. Now, here's the thing. I can understand if maybe it's a deal. Maybe if there was a deal made between both sides that when the time was right, they could put them in the games. I could understand that, but still, even if that's the case, fans would be like, "Look, deal or not, if you're willing to do this, why can't you do it with these characters?" And again, they would have a strong case on their hands. They would have a strong case on their hands. No matter how people, no matter what, like I said, no matter what the situation, they would have a strong case on their hands, and as well as a strong argument. So, do I see the whole hashtag Rally for Sally being a success? As I say in a lot of my videos, it's a wait and see game. But I think honestly, if there's a petition, and there probably is a petition. I think there is. I think I signed it. But if there's a petition which I think there is because like I said, I think I signed it to get her in the games. If it reaches its end goal of saying, "Hey, we have enough signatures here now to where we could send this to Sega on both ends of the spectrum, Sega of Japan and Sega of America, to get this done." And Sega's like, "Okay, we see what you're saying. We hear what you're saying. And Sega, maybe who's ever in charge and has the final say, says like, okay, we hear what you're saying. We read what you had to say. We saw the signatures. We saw the hashtag. Okay, fine, we'll do it. You know, if it's enough to get them to okay it and say, all right, fine, you brought up a good valid point. Fine, we'll do it. Then I'd say, well, congratulations. I'd say congrats for making it happen. But if they don't and they come out and say, yeah, well, the reason we did this is because it was a deal between both sides, that eventually Tangle and Whisper would be in the games in some capacity, then again, who knows? Maybe they still might listen and say, you know what? As a show of gratitude and a show of your long time faith and whatever that um, then maybe they might just say, yeah, okay, you know, we'll give you a constellation. Like maybe we'll put in a trophy that has Sally's image in it. Who knows? Something like that. But again, like I said, it's a wait and see game. That's how I look at it. It's a wait and see game on on both ends of the spectrum. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But like I said, I think all they did, honestly, when they made this announcement was they opened the floodgates. In my opinion, that's all they did. They opened the floodgates. Is what they did. Because whether or not this was a deal that was made when IDW first came to be, first acquired the comic book license for Sonic a couple years ago. If this was a deal made then, and this is why they're in there, then okay, fine. Uh, then okay, fine. Then that's understandable. But again, still, deal or not, what they've done is they've opened the floodgates, and I don't think they realize, what you know, what they've done until now, or at least until it's too late. Because honestly, now a lot of fans, especially that are doing this hashtag deal, they're like, they're looking at the fact that yeah, we have an argument on hands now. We have an argument on our hands now that states that if you're willing to do this, then maybe it's time you did it for these other characters that came before them that were in the comics before them as well. You know, it's a possibility. It's a possibility, but yeah. Anyway, to make this short and sweet, um, to bring this to a close because it is late. Rally for Sally is a thing. It's up right now. It's hashtag Rally for Sally on Twitter and on social media. And honestly, like I said, it's a wait and see game. But being a longtime fan, I would love to see. I would like to see the goal. I would like to see this goal reached. I would like to see the hashtag Rally for Sally succeed, and I would like to see the end result of it being her, and maybe even future Freedom Fighter characters integrated into the games. I would love to see that, and I know I'm not the only one watching, and I know I'm not the only one that's watching right now that, oh, I know I'm not the only one on, um, and because I know there are those. What I'm trying to say, like I said, it's late right now. Um, I know there are those out there that are watching that would love to see it as well. They would love to see her character along with the other freedom fighter characters involved in the game as well, games in as well in the future, and not just do hacks or anything like that. Not just do the bonus stages in classic games like Sonic Spinball or you know because again the closest they've ever gotten was the prototype that's online about the game that was based on Sonic SatAM that uh, obviously looked good. It was by the same people that did Comic Zone, and it fell through because obviously it was more platform based, more side scroller platform based than a traditional Sonic game, and I think that's what Yuji Nakata, I think that's who it was. I'm not really sure, but that's basically the head of Sonic team or the head of Sega didn't like about it because it wasn't a traditional Sonic game, and you know it's understandable, and I guess that's kind of understandable, but still, can you imagine the success? How successful that game would have been if it would have gotten a full treatment to be at least given a chance? I think it would have been a success, especially if it was going to maybe be one of the titles for the main titles of Sonic CD. Just saying. And then, of course, you got to remember they also had another chance with Sonic Mars, which became Sonic 3D Blast. And again, I think the reason being is because I don't know. Maybe because it was still going to be side scroller or more platform based or something that was going to make it non traditional. Maybe the Freedom Fighter characters were going to be playable along with Sonic. Who knows? But that fell through, unfortunately. And then, and now the only closest time we have them in the games is the bonus features for Sonic Mega Collection Plus. When you go in there in the bonus section of that, you get the covers for all the comic books up to date at that time by Archie Comics. So that's the closest we really actually have ever had them. I mean, they even not just the main books, but they even have sections in the bonus features for the Knuckles books, the Knuckle miniseries, the Tails miniseries, and the Sally miniseries. So still, I don't get it. I don't really get it. I don't understand. How you could get how the I just don't understand how the closest we get is to bonus features. But thankfully now you have fans that use things like muggin or Majin, muggin or muggin or Majin, that creative fighter video game or system or software, the Muggin system. We have people that have stuff like that allow them to create or put the characters in fighting game sessions in games if they in a gaming world, even if it's a fighting game. And then you have people that do hacks/mods that allow them to put in characters like Sally or even Bunny into the worlds of Sonic 1 and 2, the original Genesis games, and show us that, you know what? You don't have to change the entire game to integrate them in. Just integrate, just put them in there and allow them to have the ability utilize the abilities that they have. And as I said in a review, who showed in a review, that's exactly what happened. It feels like, characters like Sally and Bunny fit naturally into that world, even if their sprites are hacks and mods. Uh, but anyway, like I said, um, basically with the inclusion of Tangle and Whisper into the Sonic Dash and Sonic Forces Speed Battle mobile games, um, like I said, it just opened. I think the people behind that decision, whether it was part of a deal with IDW or not, I think they should realize, if not have already realized, that they opened the floodgates for for fans wanting to see other comic exclusive character Sonic comic exclusive characters involved as well. And mostly, I think they realized that those what I got my alarm set. Yeah, I will. Okay, me too. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you do a live stream. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure a lot of you understand that. A lot of you know about that probably better than I do. Um, but anyway, like I said, you know, I think they opened the floodgates for this to happen, and you know, for fans wanting to see other characters from the comic books come in there and be integrated as playable characters, and mostly characters that were involved in the comics way before Whisper and Tangle. So, um, so yeah, it's up there on social media. The hashtag Rally for Sally. I say support it because I would love to see it happen. I would love to see the goal become a reality, and I would love to see Sega make the announcement that yeah, we're going to integrate Sally now into the games. And we're going to integrate Bunny into the games. We're going to integrate Rotor into the games. Dulcie, Nicole, Antoine. I would love to see that announcement made because I think honestly it would be beneficial for Sega in the long run because this is the thing, if they think fans are ecstatic about Tango and Whisper, they'll be even more ecstatic if you put characters like Sally and Rotor and Antoine and Nicole and Bunny and Dulcie in there as well, even if it's one by one. They'll be just as ecstatic because they'll be able to finally play officially these characters in the games. And I'm sure if the petition, which there is one, like I said, because I did sign it, if that gets its signatures, enough signatures, I'm going to be sent to Sega. I guarantee you that they will have an argument on their hands because they can even point out, look, these characters, especially post soft retcon, post 252, have abilities that can be integrated as, but basically have abilities that can be utilized for playable characters. And I think again that's an argument that I think again that's part of the argument that's gonna they could possibly it would probably help them win the case to get these characters in there. And like I said, maybe the people in charge of both games will see the support that this hashtag's getting, see the amount of signatures that the petition got, read the explanation, be like, okay, fine, we get it, we understand. So okay, we get it, we understand. Guess what? We'll give you what you want. Here you go. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I wouldn't be. I would not be surprised if that happens. Or if they do have to come out and say, well, look, this was all done because it was part of a deal, but here we'll compensate you with this. And they maybe put in a trophy or some kind of attire that belongs to Sally or Rotor or Bunny or Nicole for a character to wear. Okay. Okay, I guess that's good. I guess that's better than nothing. But still, but still, I this is but still, in my honest opinion, all they did was open the floodgates when they made this announcement with Tango and Whisper. I think that's all they did, and I think they realized what they did, and now they have to deal with it. They have to live with it, and live with the fact that fans are going to be demanding, if not petitioning and asking and hashtagging and rallying behind the idea to get characters like Sally into the games officially in an official capacity now more so than ever. So, but anyway, though, guys, that's all I'm going to really say on it. I'm going to get ready to lie down now because I do have to work tomorrow, even if it's for about 6.5 hours. But let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you all for joining me live. Really appreciate it, especially at this time at night. Comment again. Thank you for joining me in the live chat. Thank you for watching live, and comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of what I had to say. And I am out. God bless. Take care.